What's going on, guys? Welcome again to the Third and 10 pod. As I'm changing my mic because it was on the wrong one. I guess it was already connected to the laptop one. As you can see, the headset is different. My apologies. I couldn't even find my regular Apple ones that I usually use. I know it looks like I'm alone. That is correct. Some scheduling issues. Partly my fault. Brian is not able to join us today, but he'll be back with us on Thursday for our second episode of the week. But this is episode 5 of the Third and 10 podcast. So thank you for stopping by. This past weekend, we saw a few things going on, come and go around the NFL. The NFL draft officially came to an end on Saturday uh, afternoon, I would say. All 7 rounds finished. No more draft, man. It's gonna be, rookie contracts and rookie mini camp and training camp and all that stuff. You know, I know we're in April, but honestly, I can't wait for you know July, August to come. 'Cause that's when training camp ramps up and the preseason starts and all that stuff. So I'm very excited to for that. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? I know it's just me today, so just bear with me. I know my usually by myself, I don't. It's not the most fun, but at the same time, I did want to get this episode out to you guys because we did promise you, Mondays and Thursdays, and we would we got to hold ourselves accountable, I should say. So, all right. So, as we go to our first segment of the show, as you guys know, it is called First Down, and First Down represented by our friends at SeatGeek. Use the code BELLYUPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Concerts, sporting events, comedy shows, shows in general, all that stuff. SeatGeek has it all for you. And they help you find the best seats. They have different tiers of colors. Green is good, red is bad. When it comes to getting those tickets on SeatGeek, they have everything set up for you in terms of the best seat availability. So check them out. SeatGeek, use the code BELLYUPSPORTS for $20 off your first order. All right. So when it comes to the NFL draft, right, all 32 teams selected this year, whether it was, teams selecting the first round or some teams had to wait to the second round to make their selections. All 32 teams drafted at least a few guys. Of course, though, you have to consider the fact that there are winners and then there are losers in the draft. So I guess we'll start off with the winners of the draft. One team that stood out to me the most, for obvious reasons, but also not as obvious, is the Chicago Bears. We know the Bears selected Caleb Williams with the first overall pick. Hooray. However, the Bears made some other moves that really stood out as well. And that also happened in the first round. They, as we all know, had not just the first overall pick, but the 9th overall pick as well. The 9th overall pick was their original pick. The first overall was from the trade with the Carolina Panthers that happened last year. But with the 9th overall pick, the Bears selected Rome Odunze, the wide receiver from Washington. And let's be honest, Odunze is one of the best receivers in this draft. Yes, you had the Marvin Harrison Jr., who went to the Cardinals at number 4. You had the Malik Nabers, who went number 6 to my beloved New York Giants. But Odunze, I thought he was going to go to the Jets. Matter of fact, I thought he was going to the Giants because I thought Harrison was going to go 4 to the Cardinals, which he did, but I thought Nabers was going to go 5 to the Chargers, and then Odunze 6 to the Giants. That kind of was the plan, I thought. But things changed. Joe Alt, the best offensive tackle in the draft, went number 5 to the Chargers, leading Nabers to fall 6 to the Giants. The Titans went to get J.C. Latham at 7. Number 8, the Falcons, who we'll get to in a bit, got Michael Penix Jr., which led to Ronald Dunze going 9 to the Chicago Bears. And based off of that right now, like based off of those two picks, the Bears are winners. You get your QB1, you get another wide receiver who can be a wide receiver number one down the line, but at this point in time, he's like the wide receiver 2 or 3 because you have DJ Moore, you have Keenan Allen, and now you have Ramo Dunze. Williams has stepped into best situation a rookie quarterback, to be exact, a number 1 overall pick quarterback. The best situation he could ever step in is his current situation in Chicago. No rookie quarterback, let alone a number 1 overall pick rookie quarterback, has stepped into a better situation than what Caleb Williams is going to be in Chicago. And they made some other great picks too. They continue to help out on the offensive side of the ball. In the third round, that was their next pick. In the third round, they drafted Kieran Amadije. Kieran Amadije, the offensive tackle from Yale. Now you're probably thinking, why is a tackle from Yale standing out? Well, he was a 3-year starter, right? He went from right guard to left tackle in 2022. He was great. Yes, the Bears do have 2 tackles right now, and guys like Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright. However, Jones's injury history, especially last season, was kind of shaky, and plus the Bears need to address the guard position. So that's where Amiga DJ steps in. He's 6'5", 323, a solid offensive tackle, but also could play guard if need be. And then they drafted a punter in the 4th round, which is funny, Torrey Taylor from Iowa. And then they drafted edge rusher Austin Booker in the 5th. But overall, just from those first 3 picks, with Williams Odunze and Amika DJ, the Bears are definitely one of the winners of this draft, in my opinion. The next thing that stood out to me was the Denver Broncos, who, for many of you know, they were the laughing stock last season when they lost by a good amount. They had 70 points hung on them by the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, that's an embarrassment as it is, right? But the Broncos really, I feel like they nailed this. They had a few guys that stood out to me the most. First off, Bo Nix. I know people are saying that's a reach. I understand that, but at the same time, Denver was stuck in a situation where they need to get a quarterback, or else they would have been screwed. Because you're not gonna go into next season with Jarrett Stidham and Ben DiNucci, right? You're gonna have to get a guy, and Bo Nix was the last available quarterback that was ranked in the top 6 of this draft. Williams went first, and Janie Downs went second to the Commanders. Drake May went there to the Patriots. We talked about Michael Penix already. JJ McCarthy went to the Vikings at 10. Vikings had to trade up, by the way, which led to the Broncos with Nix. And if they didn't get Nix, he probably would have fell to somebody. Somebody would have taken him. The Raiders possibly would have taken him, but Denver said no. We won't take the risk and just get him. So Bo Nix went number 1 in the first. Well, he went to the Broncos with their first pick of the draft, I should say. They drafted a solid edge rusher in the 3rd round, and Jonah Elise. His scouting report stood out to me when I was looking at it. They needed an outside linebacker for their scheme. He steps in and provides an immediate upgrade along with his pass rush abilities. And this was a great story. I was looking at, but as I was following the draft, Troy Franklin fell pretty far in this draft. I thought Franklin was going to go 2nd, 3rd round at least, or to fall at the very most, I should say. He went to the 4th round, and Denver was like, no, we're not going to let this guy fall anymore. He was a teammate of Bo Nix. He was Nix's favorite receiver. Let's get him. They drafted him in the 4th round, and that was just great because I love when college quarterbacks get to reunite with their college teammates. For example, this is from a different sport, but the New York Knicks are a great example, right? Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, those guys are playing really well together right now in the playoffs as they're up 3-1 in the first round against the Philadelphia 76ers. It's funny to say, I believe in the power of friendship, but in all seriousness, when you have 2 guys that worked well with each other, especially in college, because Franklin, he was not only the most dynamic receiver on the Oregon team, but he was also Bo Nix's favorite target. So you have those 2 guys together. Franklin is 6'2", by the way, 176. So he's going to be a good receiver at the next level. Sure, I mean, might have to add some weight or so, but he's fast. He's fast. So I love the pairing of Knicks and Franklin, the reunion of those two. Denver in the fifth round, they had two picks. I love these two picks, by the way. They got Chris Abrams-Drain, the cornerback from Missouri, one of my favorite corners in this year's draft. I thought he was going to go third or fourth round, possibly, but Abrams-Drain, 5'11", 179. He led the SEC in passes defended last season. He used to be a receiver actually, but transitioned to corner. He's a ball hawk. He attacks the ball. He's an aggressive run defender as well. He's going to be great for the Broncos, who still have Patrick Surtain. Could be traded one day. Who knows? He was rumored to be traded this past draft, or this draft, I should say. But so far, that's not the case. And they just picked up his fifth-year option. So Chris Abrams-Drain and Patrick Surtain are the 1 and 2 corners, it looks like. And then with the other fifth-round pick, they got Audric Estime, the running back from Notre Dame. This guy's a power back. I loved him. Brian loved him as well. We talked about him possibly being on the Giants. It would have been nice to have Estime. He's just a big guy. He's if I had to compare it to the Giants, they got Brandon Jacobs type of running back. He led Notre Dame in rushing last season for the second straight year, had 18 touchdowns last year as well. He has enough speed to make, people miss and whatnot, but mostly he's just the ability to break tackles just stood out the most to us when we're looking at his scouting report. So I'm glad Denver was able to get a good running back. He'll pair up with Javonte Williams in Denver. So overall, Denver, one of the other winners that I have in this year's draft as well. Another team that stood out to me are the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers, yes, I understand they got Joel with the fifth overall pick. Everyone's thinking, what are they doing? What are they doing? Why are we getting a offensive tackle when we could have got Malik Nabers or Rome Odunze? I understand what Harbaugh was thinking. I was shocked. And I'm not saying this because the Giants was able to get Nabers. I promise you, it's not because of that. I'm not surprised because I know the Chargers have two solid guys at tackle. We saw Rashawn Slater last year along with Trey Pipkins the third. However, Joe Alt is an upgrade over Pipkins, and I do understand the need to continue to protect Justin Herbert, and the lack of weapons that he has is concerning. So that's why at the moment, when they drafted, I was like, what are they doing? And a lot of Chargers fans, I'm sure, were thinking, what are we doing? Not to worry, because it seems like the Chargers knew what they were thinking, because in a trade, they were able to land Ladd McConkey in the second round. The wide receiver from Georgia, he was one of the best receivers in the draft as well. Not top tier, tier number 1, but he was, top tier 2, the best of tier 2. McConkey's an excellent route runner. He's going to be great in the slot for the Chargers. They landed some other receivers later on in the draft. Brendan Rice fell to the 7th round, which is completely shocking. I love Brendan Rice personally. 6'2", 208. Was 4th in the Pac-12 last year in touchdown catches. He's good. He has good size, and he can, he's a solid route runner as well. So I'm surprised he fell to the 7th round, but the Chargers took advantage. They got a solid guy, Jerry Rice's son, as if you guys don't know. So wait to get him in the 7th round, and they also drafted Cornelius Johnson, who has Michigan ties with head coach John Harbaugh. So Chargers got some receivers, and Joshua Palmer isn't that bad. And Quentin Johnson had a rough year last year, but sophomore season maybe he bounced back. So the Chargers' weapons aren't that bad, but I just thought, as many of us did as well, that they would possibly go get a Malik Nabers or Odunze in the first round, but they settled on Joe Alt, which is a solid pick. He is the best tackle in the draft. No concerns. So some losers in this draft, right? So I give you 3 winners, right? The Bears, Broncos, and Chargers. Now let's go to the losers, right? Let's go to the Falcons. They are definitely losers, and I'm serious. I understand. Yes, they addressed defensive tackle. Yes, they addressed edge rusher. Yes, they addressed linebacker later in the draft. I don't give a care, because you don't pay Kirk Cousins $100 million guaranteed just for him to have to look behind his shoulder and see Michael Penix Jr. waiting to take his job. And I understand the Bears GM saying, "Oh, if Michael Penix has to sit behind Kirk Cousins for 4 or 5 years, that'd be great." No, okay, NFL careers don't last that long. And Kirk Cousins, you brought him in for a reason. He's a great veteran quarterback. Yes, he hasn't had much playoff success, but at the same time, he knows how to win football games. Right? This is something the Falcons haven't had in a while since Matt Ryan, which is a winning quarterback. Kirk Cousins is a winning quarterback. Why would you draft Michael Penix? The Falcons were rumored to get Dallas Turner, who was a better pass rusher than Braylon Trice is, who they got in the third round, no question. Or they could have got Yatu Latu from UCLA. He's a better pass rusher than Braylon Trice. They could have got a wide receiver, right? Odunze went 9 to the Bears, yet he could have gone to the Falcons at 8. Odunze, right? They could have gotten, I don't know, Byron Murphy the second. That he's the best defensive tackle in the draft. They could have gotten him at 8th overall. Then no one would have blinked an eye. You got Michael Penix for what? I don't understand that the pick doesn't make sense. And yet, I understand. Oh, look at the Giants. They paid their quarterback $100 million plus guarantee a contract, whatever. And look at them now. They're looking for a quarterback. There's different levels between Kirk Cousins and Daniel Jones. Okay. And it's like Michael Penix was a reach anyways. Out of the 6 quarterbacks, a lot of people had Penix at like quarterback 6 because of his age, because of his injury history, which I completely disregard because injury history is history for a reason. And you draft the guy based off his talent. But what I'm trying to say is the Falcons did wrong by the guy. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a guy who is 24, 25 years old. He's old. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just old. And he comes into a situation where it's like, I don't want him to sit too long. Like, I want to see him play. Like, he deserves to be somewhere where he can be a starter immediately. Look at Bo Nix. He's old too. He's been in college since I graduated high school in 2018. You see, it's like, and he gets to start. So I give the Falcons, they're losers in this draft because they just made a bad decision, man. And you did wrong by the young man. He could have gone anywhere else to be a starter. Anywhere else. He could have gone to the Raiders, man. You have Kirk Cousins, you have your guy. If that doesn't work out and they stink, then you go into next year, you get yourself a quarterback. There's Shadir Sanders, there's Carson Beck, there's Quinn Ewers from Texas. Bunch of guys. Yeah, you get Michael Penix. And did you see the video of the GM trying to explain to Arthur Blank why they drafted Michael Penix? Do you think Arthur Blank is happy? No. And if you think about it, there was a quote I got from one of the guys that from the corner booth, Matt. Appreciate you, Matt, by the way. He sent me a picture of the Falcons GM who's saying, quote, "We didn't draft a corner," or something like this. "We didn't draft a corner because it would have been a reach," or something like that. "We didn't want to reach." You reached for a quarterback, but you couldn't reach for a cornerback? Which, by the way, what is a pressing need, a more pressing need compared to quarterback? Come on. We're contradicting things here. It's not my problem. It's not my team. But from an analyst standpoint, from a podcast standpoint, from someone who just loves covering sports for Belly Up, this is ridiculous. They messed up bad. Another team that lost the draft to me is the 49ers. So let me get this straight. You guys wanted to get rid of either Debo or Ayuk to move into the top 10. Failed to do that. And instead of addressing, say, the offensive line or the secondary in the first round, you get yourself a wide receiver. So let me get this straight. You try to trade one of the two guys that you have, two of the best receivers in the NFL. You fail to do so, and your solution is to get another one? So Jawan Jennings wasn't good enough for you? You drafted Ronnie Bell last year? What are we doing? Let me get this straight. So, yes, they addressed corner. The Niners did. Ronaldo Green's a good corner. Dominic Puny is a good offensive tackle. I'm looking forward to see what he can do at the next level. Malik Mustafa is one of the hardest hitting safeties in this draft. They got him in the 4th round. You drafted a running back, Isaac Gruendo from Louisville, in the 4th round. Why? You don't need a running back. You have McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason, and I think you still have Tyron Davis-Price. Why would you draft another one? You don't need it. McCaffrey's fine. Mitchell's a solid backup too. Jordan Mason stepped in at times, and he did a pretty good job himself. There's no need to get another running back. And Gruendo isn't that good anyways. He had the 3rd fastest 40. Sure. Okay, but he's just, I don't know. There was no need. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the Niners were thinking. And then they drafted another receiver in Jacob Cowing in the 4th. Why? You don't need it. You don't need receivers, man. You have guys. You have Debo. You have Ayuk. You have Juwan Jennings, Ronnie Bell. How many guys do you need? Trent Williams isn't getting any younger. I don't understand. I don't know, man. I question the Niners' moves. They could have done a lot better. They could have got Jackson Powers Johnson. That guy could play center and guard. That's a good offensive lineman. They could have got Mike Saintsville. He can play. He's great because he's versatile. He can play safety and corner. And he does it at a high level. And he does special teams. Special teams, special plays, special players. Sketch. Yeah, so I don't know, man. To me, the Niners are one. They're not as bad of a loser like the Falcons are, but they're out there. And then the final loser, however, for Giants fans who wanted a quarterback. I understand. We didn't get a quarterback. We could have got Spencer Rattler. We didn't. We could have got Michael Pratt. We didn't. We didn't get Drake May. We tried trading out for Drake May, apparently, to report, so we didn't get him. It's fine. Okay, for you Giants fans who want a quarterback, too bad. We're losers. No, you're a loser. I am completely content with what we got. Yes, I wanted a quarterback, but if Joe Shane says we don't need a quarterback right now, that we can run with Daniel Jones as a starter, by all means, I'm good with it. I believe. You gotta believe. Plus, if it doesn't work out, we can always get Shadir Sanders like next year. So, and that, my friends, was a long segment. First down. Appreciate you. Let's go to second down. presented by Yeats Sunglasses. Use the code BELLYUPPOD for 10% off your order. Shout out to Yeats. Incredible sunglasses. Incredible. So, we talked about the winners and losers of the draft, but I want to shift our focus to the rookie quarterbacks in particular, because I do feel like we should sort of rank them based off their situation. So we know Caleb Williams has the best situation, right? Has 3 legit receivers, a good tight end in Cole Kmet. They got a good running back there in DeAndre Swift, solid offensive line. Caleb's going to be just fine. Michael Penix has the worst situation out of all 6 top 6 quarterbacks. This man ain't going to play for a while, barring anything to happen to Kirk Cousins. They got Bijan, which is good. They got Drake London, which is they could have got another receiver, to be honest. That's just my opinion. And they got Kyle Pitts, who has looked like not as the first round guy we thought he would be, but hopefully things change. Just for the situation Michael Penix is in, he ain't gonna play that much. But what about the quarterbacks in between Williams and Penix? I got you. To me, the quarterback with the second best situation is JJ McCarthy. Now you got Justin Jefferson. You got a great coach, Kevin O'Connell. You're gonna start right away too. Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. Are you kidding me? Aaron Jones in the backfield. Does Vikings have a okay defense, but offensively, McCarthy. Oh boy, he's gonna have some fun. I'm happy for JJ McCarthy, man. He ran a pro style offense in Michigan. Yes, a lot of people are saying it was a reach. McCarthy was a more of a second round talent. Vikings said, screw it. We're not gonna let this guy fall to us. We traded up 1 pick with the Jets just to get him. Fine. So McCarthy, good for you, man. He's gonna be in a great situation in Minnesota. He has all the weapons. He has arguably the best receiver in the league, and Justin Jefferson, who is gonna get paid real soon. So shout out to him. In third place, in terms of the best quarterback in the best position to succeed at the moment, is Jaden Daniels. Now that guy, he can scramble, he can throw it. They got him some weapons in the draft from Ben Sinnott, the tight end, and Luke McCaffrey, the brother of Christian McCaffrey, by the way, the receiver from Rice. They got him. You pair him up with Terry McLaurin. You have Austin Eckler. The Commanders got something going. And Jaden Daniels is going to start right away. He has some good weapons to work with. He's going to be fine. Third best situation. In fourth, I got Bo Nix. Now, Bo Nix is going to work with Sean Payton. Sean Payton's going to love him. I know it. I can tell. Okay, Nix, he can make quick decisions. He has plenty of experience in college. Cortland Sutton's going to be there. He's got his teammate Troy Franklin from college. Javonte Williams in the backfield too, along with Audric Esteen, like we just talked about. Denver, good situation for Bo Nix. I really hope he succeeds. He deserves it. And in fifth place, they got Drake May, because the Patriots, yes, they drafted May, but they really don't have anything else. The offense looks like crap. Their starting receivers at the moment are Keyshawn Boutte, Kendrick Bourne, and KJ Osborne. That, my friends, is not very promising. My guy Kevin Wilson, which, by the way, you guys should check us out tomorrow, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. The Piggin' Out podcast. Me and Kevin, we host that every Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. We will discuss the sports world as a whole with some fantasy insights. So shout out to Kevin. Appreciate you stopping by. Kevin says, agree, McCarthy has the weapons to succeed. Definitely number 2. 100%, Mr. Wilson. McCarthy's going to have some fun. Yeah, he may not have the best arm talent in the world, but he has an adequate arm. And he is better than Sam Darnold, okay? He's better than Sam Darnold. Let's be honest. So McCarthy, in terms of my rankings, it's Caleb Williams, JJ McCarthy, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Drake May, and Michael Penix as the list of quarterbacks in the best position to succeed from best to worst. Cool. We shift to our final segment, third down. Presented by Righteous Felon Jerky. Use the code BELLYUP for 15% off your order. Righteous Felon. Great snack to have in your pantry. One of the most delicious beef jerky snacks you'll have. They are phenomenal. So shout out to them for sponsoring third down. The Giants. You thought I was gonna end or have an episode where I talking about the Giants? You kidding me? See, I wanted Brian to be here, so I'll make it short because I want to get his full analysis too on Thursday. But this draft class, I'm fine with it. I have no complaints. I really don't. And before we continue, Kevin says, I feel sorry for May. His cupboard is bare. Yeah, not much over there in New England, I tell you. You got Ramondre Stevenson, and you got nothing else. Rough times in New England. They're going to have to, hopefully May survives. But the Giants, yeah, so Malik Nabers, right? Falls to the Giants at 6. Hallelujah. We got our wide receiver number 1, our best receiver since Odell Beckham Jr. Hallelujah. Yes, sir. Now, whoever's the quarterback, just get him the football. I'm talking 10 to 15 targets a game. Just get him the ball. Okay? We don't have a lot of playmakers on this team right now. So just get him the football. There will be no issues. Daniel Jones, I'm telling you, dude, you better get to know this guy. Okay? You better get him what he wants, this guy. He deserves it, Malik Nabers does. He will make your life better. Okay? He will make your life better. So you better figure this out. Okay? I don't want to see no overthrows or underthrows or just miss them. I don't want to see any of that. And I don't care if you're doing it in training camp. Training camp is deceiving as heck. Because we saw from training camp for Giants fans out there, we saw Trey Hawkins, the 6th round corner. Remember him from Old Dominion? We thought he was going to be good. You know what happened week 1? He got roasted by CeeDee Lamb. So, hey, training camp is deceiving. Don't let it get to your head. Wait till the regular season and see how these guys do. I'm telling you, Trey Hawkins was a complete bust. Holy crap. I hope he does get better, though. But based off of last year, whew. So, Daniel Jones, you get the ball to Malik Nabers. If not, Drew Lock, you're next. If not, Tommy DeVille, you're next. If that doesn't work, then we can kiss our kisses goodbye to the playoffs in 2024, move on to 2025, get yourself a quarterback. Shadir Sanders, Ewers, or Carson Bank, you're up. Round 2, Giants got the best safety in the draft, in my opinion, Tyler Nubin. He's a great coverage safety, contribute in run defense as well. He's great. I love him. I'm glad we got him in the 2nd round. 3rd round, that's where it gets a little shaky. Giants drafted Andrew Phillips, the cornerback from Kentucky. Yes, he's okay. You know, he's mainly a slot guy, so the Giants will have to figure out, whether they're going to put Cordell Flott, maybe Nick McLeod on the outside. Really I wish the Giants would have got a true cornerback number 2, that could play on the outside. But Phillips can't serve that role. It's just a matter of if he plays well in the preseason and camp to do so. I just, from what we've seen and heard, he's more of a slot corner than anything. So in the 4th round, the Giants drafted Theo Johnson, the tight end from Penn State. Johnson, he's basically Darren Waller's replacement because it looks like Waller's not going to play. So he needs to be more consistent in terms of being a good vertical threat. He's not the best laterally. He changed the direction, is below average. So that's like, okay, not the best tight end, but he's an opposing target. He's like 6'6", so he's a big guy. So 5th round, Giants drafted Tyrone Tracy. He barely converted to running back last year, but he's a playmaker, man. He's explosive, but he will need to improve on his vision, basically. So not going to be RB1, but he'll be part of the committee led by Devin Singletary. And in the 6th round, the Giants drafted Maurice Luafu. He's a tackling machine. Does need to get a little stronger. He'll be on special teams, but he can start if need be. Hopefully not as much as needed with Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. But if needed, he will start. So overall, I'll give the Giants class like a B. You got Nabers and Nubin. It's just the uncertainty with the guys after that, which goes for everyone. It's not you're not gonna get all 6 or 7 gems in the draft. It's about developing these guys. And if the Giants could develop Andrew Phillips, if they can develop Theo Johnson, if they could develop Tyrone Tracy, if they can develop Uwafu, they'll be fine. Give it a B. Yeah, 2 for sure guys and Neighbors and Nubin. Just a matter of everyone else. So, and that'll do it for episode 5 of the 3rd and 10 podcast. That was fun. I know you guys just heard me today, but Brian will be back with us on Thursday. So shout out to him. Excuse my Warriors hat. I was trying to find my Giants hat. I could not find it. So I'm a Lakers fan, by the way. So don't ask me why I have a Warriors hat on if you're watching on YouTube. Follow us on at 3rd and 10 Pod on Instagram and Twitter. This episode will be also found on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Shout out to Belly Up Sports. Shout out to SeatGeek, Yeet Sunglasses, Righteous Felon Jerky for being our sponsors. And that will do it. We'll see you on Thursday. Thank you so much for listening and or watching to episode 5 of the 3rd and 10 podcast. I will see you soon.